If I asked you to picture someone with an extremely high IQ, what do you see? Probably a lab coat, quiet confidence, maybe glasses for good measure. We imagine someone who speaks in perfectly formed sentences and never second-guesses themselves. The kind of person who walks into a room and everybody just knows. But here's the uncomfortable truth. That image, it's almost entirely wrong. Hi, I'm Luna, and this is Silent Mind. The people who actually score in the top fraction of a percent, they don't walk around feeling like geniuses. Most of them spend an embarrassing amount of time convinced they're frauds. They stay up until 3 a.m., not because they're working on something brilliant, but because they're awake. Catastrophically, uselessly awake, thinking about something they said back in 2009. They talk to themselves. They constantly forget where they put their keys. And when you look at their psychology up close, it's a lot more chaotic and a lot more human than we'd like to admit. So, if any of this sounds familiar, let's dive into the 7 weird habits of high IQ individuals. First, the most consistent pattern is self-doubt. Think about the imposter syndrome. High IQ people doubt themselves more than anyone else around them. They aren't fishing for compliments. They genuinely believe they are less capable than they are. The more you understand a topic, the more you see its complexity, and the more you see how much you don't know. It's a permanent, low-level anxiety, a feeling that eventually someone's going to figure out you're not as smart as they think. It is a psychological burden that most people never see. Second, they are night owls. Research shows that the capacity to override your internal clock for things like reading or creating is a sign of higher general intelligence. This means a lot of very smart people are chronically sleep-deprived, operating in a world built for morning people, a world they'll never naturally fit into. They are fighting their own biology every single day. Third, they talk to themselves out loud. It's a tool for cognitive self-regulation. Saying it out loud helps the brain process information differently. It organizes the chaos. So, if you've been caught talking to yourself in a grocery store, don't worry. You're just using language as a tool for thinking. Fourth, they are prone to anxiety and rumination. A powerful brain is a powerful threat detector. It generates disaster scenarios at remarkable speed, simulations of everything that could go wrong. Your brain is running 1,000 what-if scenarios while everyone else is just sleeping. Fifth, they forget the mundane. Where are the keys? Did I reply to that text? This happens because a mind invested in complex, abstract thinking simply doesn't prioritize low-stakes information. It's not laziness, it's resource allocation. Sixth, they have a broad vocabulary, including taboo words. Smart people don't curse because they lack words. They do it because they understand language well enough to know exactly which word fits the moment. And finally, sensory overload. To a high IQ brain, the world can be too loud, too bright, just too much. Crowded restaurants aren't just annoying, they're overwhelming. Their nervous systems are simply operating under a heavier load. What all of this adds up to is a picture that looks less like a superhero and more like a person who is quietly exhausted by their own mind. If you recognize yourself in this, the doubt, the 3 a.m. wakefulness, the weight of a brain that won't stop running, know this. You've been told you have every advantage, but it's okay to admit that it still feels hard. Now, you know why. I'm Luna. If this resonated with you, subscribe to Silent Mind. Let's find the silence together.